Welcome to the Never Yield podcast. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd, and on today's pod, we will recap all things Razorback from the weekend. We will preview the week ahead and give the latest bracketology projections after the Hogs' embarrassing performance in Gainesville on Saturday. We'll break that game down. We'll talk Hogs baseball and much, much more. Riding solo tonight, Andrew is having some internet issues. He's having a technician come out to his house tomorrow, I believe, to see if he can get his internet up and running. I'm having some technology issues in myself. My normal recording device is not working, so I'm just riding raw from the MacBook itself. So hopefully the quality's okay. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We'll just jump right into it, man. The Hogs go down to Gainesville. Big anticipated game, college game day there. Jay Billis on the call, Jay Will, Reese Davis in attendance, Pete Thamel. I mean, just the whole nine, all the big dogs in Gainesville for the matchup between Florida and Arkansas, big national stage, ESPN primetime. We think this team's matured, right, since that Georgia game and that Auburn game on the road where we just got blown out. And anyways, a lot of eyes on the Hogs Saturday night. And they come out and lay a complete egg, just belt to bottom. Not even competitive in the slightest. Didn't step up in the big moment. Wasn't ready for the spotlight. There's really only so much you can say about it. We'll get into the player recaps here in a minute, but this is not DEFCON 5. This is not season's over, mail it in type stuff, but there's definitely a common theme with this team that we've seen, and not even in the X's and O's. We're not going to talk yet about how the front court let us down again and got dominated in the paint again. We're not even going to get to that yet. My biggest concern with this team right now is there's no toughness when adversity hits. There's no fight through adversity. There's no poise is a good word for it. When things start going bad, there's just never any will to make them get better and to buckle down and get stops and to fight back from a deficit for heaven's sakes, man. I mean, we're living in a fantasy world if we think that every game you're going to come out and just have a lead and just cruise control and win by 10, 12 points every game. No, there's going to be games where you get down, even get down big, and you're going to have to figure out a way to overcome that and get stops and get good looks on the goal and limit the other team's momentum. And with this team, man, it just snowballs. It's unbelievable. You look at, it started with that Auburn game at Auburn. Just got demolished. Never had any true fight to come back. You look at the Georgia game at Georgia. We got down 17-4 right off the bat. And yeah, they clawed their way back a little bit in that game. Maybe even tied it up. But then the next thing you know, Georgia goes on another 14-0 run. Ends the game, you lose by 15 points when it was tied with 5 minutes to go. So that run still happened. You even look at the Kentucky game, man, this team doesn't lose very often by 2 points or 1 point. The Alabama game's the only game where they've lost by 1 point, 2 points, have a shot to win it, get beat on a buzzer beater. It's either you win for the most part, you win, or you get blown your brakes beat off. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because it's just at this point in the season with 2 games left, it is who you are. You are who you are at this point of the season. And unfortunately, it just kind of tells you that, if this team gets down 10 or 12 or 15 in the second half, especially, that they've shown us nothing to think that they can overcome that and that they can come together as a group and have some leadership on the court and play good team defense and get stops when you got to get stops and get good shots on the goal, get to the free throw line, find a way to limit the momentum. And that's my biggest concern with this team is that they just can't overcome adversity in the slightest bit. In the slightest bit. But yeah, big stage, national TV, obviously quad 1A game. And very few people, if anybody, picked the Hogs to win this game. This is not what this is about. Oh, how they go down there and lose. No, this is not what this is about. This is about just being competitive on a national stage and playing a good game and just getting beat. After that Alabama game, people may have been a little frustrated, but they weren't mad at the performance. They weren't mad at the product. You just expect, if you really do think you have a team to make a run in March, that you go down there and at least make it competitive, not just get your brakes beat off and get ran out of the gym. And yeah, it's frustrating. It's a major red flag. But I think it shows us that there's definitely tiers to this. There's tiers to who's good in basketball, in college hoops, national title good. I think you probably have a group of 5 or 6 teams that are just way better than everybody else. Michigan, obviously, Duke, Arizona, Florida's made their way into that group. UConn, I guess, is probably in that group. And some days Houston. I wouldn't even actually put Houston in that group because they've shown they're vulnerable. And we played Duke close earlier in the year, single digits. But, you look at what Duke did to Virginia. They did the same thing to Virginia that Florida did to us. They held Virginia to 50-something points, beat them by 25 or so. Virginia's a projected 4 seed in the tournament. Duke did the same thing to them. Michigan beats Illinois by 15 or 16 at Illinois. Illinois is probably a 3 seed in the dance. Going to finish second or third in the Big Ten. Arizona did to Kansas. Beat them, double digits. Wasn't even close. And so, as frustrating as it is, Arkansas wasn't the only team that got waxed on Saturday. But I just think it shows there's tiers to this. And does that mean that on any given night, these teams can't be slipped up on? No, absolutely not. The Hawks can slip up on these guys any night. They're talented enough on the right night. But it's going to take a special game to beat one of those teams. You're going to have to play really good, have a lot of things go your way, hit lot of shots, get them in some foul trouble. A lot of things are going to have to go right to win that game. Now, that really goes on to my next point of if the Hogs can find a way to get off that 5 line, I think there is a path for them to make a run to maybe something like a Elite 8 or a Final 4 even, because if you get a 6 seed, you're in the part of the bracket with the 2s and the 3s. You're not going to see a 1 until you get to the Elite 8. And there's a big drop-off, I think. I think there's a big drop-off from 1s to 2s. I think if you could draw an Iowa State as a 2, I don't want to play Houston because I think Kevin Sampson's unbelievable. But you'd rather play Houston than Michigan. And so, if you could draw a Purdue even as a 2, there's that large gap there after those top 4 or 5 teams. And so if somehow, you never want the Hawks to lose, but I'm not going to be in panic mode. I want them to beat Texas, obviously, on Wednesday. but I'm not going to be in panic mode if they don't. Or if they go to Missouri and they already have that top 4 seed locked up in the SEC tournament, that double bye, and they get beat on the road at Missouri. If you get on that 6 seed, I'm telling you, for multiple reasons. Like we said, you're in that quadrant with those 2s and 3s, and then the 11 seeds are not very good. The bubble is awful this year. You're looking at playing a not great Santa Clara or a San Diego State or a team that's just barely a Virginia Tech, a team that's got 1 or 2 quad 1 wins on the year. And the bubble is not real competitive this year. And you get to play one of those 11 seeds. Whereas if you're a 5, you got to play a 12. One of the best mid-majors who won their league and is coming into the year 28-3 or something. So I think it benefits you in the first round and the second round to get a 6 seed and not a 5. Just because the bubble is really weak this year. It's really bad. Auburn's on the bubble. Obviously, you won't get Auburn in the first round of the tournament. But, that quality of opponent are the teams that are on the bubble, and a lot of them aren't even winning. Like, they're just keep losing, but nobody else is winning, so the bubble's staying the same. And so if there's a way to fall into that 6 seed spot, I would be ecstatic. I would rather play Virginia Tech in the first round than Yale every day of the week. I would rather play Ohio State or Indiana or TCU than South Florida and Belmont every day of the week. Won't be the worst thing to ever happen. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But the Hogs, they're firmly on that 5. Excuse me. They're firmly on that 5 spot right now, and they're going to have some teams behind them win because Tennessee lost 2 this week, so that's not going to help them. North Carolina, it's Caleb Wilson out, and they got Duke this week, so that's probably not going to help them. They're going to have some guys jump them because they were a 5 before the Florida game. They got run off the floor, and they're still a 5. So, I think that says that they're pretty firmly on that 5 line, unless something crazy happens. But yeah, let's talk about the game for a minute. Hogs came out quick, jumped on them 4-0, I think, if I remember right. Billy caught the ball right away, took it right at Thomas Hogg, right at him, and got a layup. And unfortunately, we kind of went away from that. I don't know why, because you could tell the game plan was, hey, you may struggle to guard him, Billy, because he's so big, but he's going to struggle to guard you because you're so fast and athletic. And then we kind of got away from that. Now, I know Billy ended up with 22 points. Was our leading scorer, I know. But, they come out quick, and you're like, all right, let's go. You're feeling good about it. And then the wheels just fell off quickly. Got dominated at the rim like we knew we would, but it was maybe even worse than what we thought. No answer for Alex Condon. No answer for Ruben Chinny-Lou. No answer for Thomas Howe. I mean, honestly, Florida and Michigan, off the top of my head, are only the 2 teams who have that interior presence that's just the worst matchup possible for the Hogs. So if you get matched up with either of them, you're not going to feel good about it in the tournament down the road. But if you can avoid Michigan and you can avoid Florida, Arizona's better than you, but they don't have that inside just 3-6-10, 3-6-11s at the rim. And that's what gave the Hogs trouble on both ends. Defensively, we couldn't guard them in the paint. We knew we couldn't. Offensively, though, it was a game of 2 things. You had like the number 4 2-point scoring offense in the country, and you have like the number 4 or 5 2-point defense in the country. And you hope they just kind of offset, right? Like, you're going to get some that they don't usually give up, and then they're going to take some away from you that you usually get, and they just kind of offset. But there was no offsetting. They they had the Hogs out of sorts offensively all night, and they were taking bad shots. They were taking off balance runners, avoiding contact. Their length it gave the Hogs fits. It gave the Hogs fits, and that was the one thing you didn't want to see. Was you at least thought, as good as we are at scoring at the rim, even with some size, they may alter a couple shots and take a few points away from you, but they were in our head. We were missing bunnies with nobody guarding us. We were missing them because just their length was in the back of these guys' heads, and they thought they were coming from somewhere the whole time. We were even missing the uncontested ones, which was frustrating. But yeah, let's go down the list right here. Talked about Billy, 22 points, 6 rebounds. Once again, 9 of 17 shooting. I thought Billy had a good game. I thought Billy was Billy. Defensively, he's not quite what he was early in the year. He's getting beat off the dribble more than what you would ever think Billy would. And that's frustrating, and I hope he gets that cleaned up. But, that's offsetting with some of the offense he's bringing to us, and so it's kind of a catch-22. But no, Billy was Billy, scored over 20 for the 5th game in a row. So bravo to Billy, and that draft stock, I'm sure, just keeps on rising for Billy. Not good for us. Darius Acuff. I thought for the first time all year, Darius Acuff had a bad game, especially in conference play. For the first time in conference play, Darius Acuff did not play well, which is frustrating for the stage it was on, all the hype he was getting. I know he's a little bit banged up. I know he's a little bit hurt, but he didn't look hurt. Like he wasn't limping like he was those last 2 games. I just thought I'm not saying he's not banged up. I know he is, but it wasn't as visible. I just thought he didn't play a great game. I just thought he had his first bad game of the SEC season. 17 points on 6 of 19 shooting. 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers. He missed some ones he usually makes at the rim, but once again, you had the size of Florida contesting him. He was getting frustrated. You never see Darius get frustrated. He's really poised, always keeping his composure. But you could tell he was getting visibly frustrated at several things. And hopefully it's a learning moment for him, a teaching moment. I still think he's the SEC Player of the Year by a lot. But hopefully he, he got that out of his system and comes out against Texas and Missouri and finishes strong. And but yeah, I mean, I didn't think Darius had a good game. I thought he had his worst game of the SEC season. So not a good spot to do it on ESPN with Jay Billis and all the prime time and all the eyes on you. But it is what it is now. We got to move on from it. Malik Thomas, 10 points, 5 of 13, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Malik's in a little slump right now. Why is Malik Thomas not shooting more threes? He's passing them up. There's been games he's only shot 1 3 in a game. Against Florida, he shot 2. Malik needs to be firing away from 3. I don't care if he misses them or not. He needs to be firing away. That's his game. And I love how he's trying to get to the rim now, and he's getting to his midi. Like, I like that he's added all that to his game that he didn't really have in the beginning of the year. But he's got to be shooting threes for us at a high volume. This is another game where we passed up a bunch of open threes. And we talked about against Florida, you're not going to get all those at the rim. You're going to have to stretch the floor and hit threes. And we were intimidated to shoot them. I didn't understand why we were passing up open threes. You're not going to beat Florida unless you hit some threes. It's just not the recipe. Trevor Brazile, awful. 3 points, 5 rebounds, 4 fouls. Just didn't step up to the moment. Once again, You would think playing, all you hear is about how good the Florida front court is and how you're going to get dominated, and then that's what you give us. It doesn't even fathom to me that. I mean, he was a non-factor, which he has been in several games. Got another intentional foul or flagrant or whatever it was. You can count on it. If we're down 15 or 20, he's going to do something stupid. It's getting old. Michigan State does the thing with the towel, hits the kid in the student section. Kentucky gets intentional with 20 seconds left in the game. Against Florida, gets an intentional. I think there was one more in there somewhere. He did something dumb. He only does it when we're losing by 20 or 30. He doesn't do it when we're winning. Gotta have some poise, some composure. Nick Pringle, oof. No points. 2 rebounds. 0 of 5 from the free throw line. I don't know. Malik Ewan, 11 points, 8 rebounds. I thought Malik played well. He came in, got an end one right away. He wasn't efficient. He was 4-12. But if you just look at the numbers, 11 points, 8 rebounds. You'll take that from Malik about every day. So, DJ, I thought DJ hit what he hit 3 threes. Had a lay. I thought DJ did all right. 12 points from DJ. I mean, I think everybody would sign up for that. So, anyways, like I said, I think there's tiers to it. The metrics, we've dropped one spot in the net from 18 to 19. One spot. So, the metrics, they just see it as a quad 1A loss on the road. So you didn't drop a ton. You stayed at 20 in the AP poll. People behind you lost. There's really nobody to jump you. So you stayed the exact same spot in the AP poll after losing by 30 on the road. So. But yeah, 5 seed as of right now. 5 seed as of right now. Looking at playing South Florida or Yale or Belmont or somebody. It's a game that's going to scare the dog out of all of us. You know how those 5-12s go. So if they drop to a 6, I don't think it'll be the worst thing in the world. But we shall see. Time will tell. Texas on deck. Wednesday night at the Palace. It'll be senior night for those seniors. Texas, man, they've put together a bunch of wins here as of late. As they stroll into the, they were squarely on the bubble. Not even in the tournament for a while. And they've stacked on a few wins on top of wins, and beat Missouri at Missouri. Went to A&M, beat A&M the other day. So they're a tournament team. They're coming in, playing at a high level offensively. They got a post player that's going to be an issue for us. Obviously, it's Texas, so we always want to beat Texas. Sean Miller at Texas. Sean Miller's a good coach, y'all. I know he may not be the best person in the world, but he can coach basketball, and you put him with that NIL money at Texas, and he's going to get it built up there pretty quick. Tremont Mark coming back. Y'all remember Tremont from 2 years ago, Muss's last year. So we, Tremont, he went for 40 once. I think down there at the in the Bahamas, right? At the Battle of Atlantis, he went for 40 and hit a couple game winners, has some clutch gene in him, so he's going to have a good game. And I'd like to beat Texas. I'd like to get that taken care of. And if you beat Texas, let me pull up the standings real quick. If you beat Texas, that puts you at 12-5 in the league. You got Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee all right there at 10-6. You got the tiebreaker over Tennessee. Tennessee still has to play Vandy. Kentucky still has to play Florida again. And so I would think if you beat Texas, you're probably close to a lock to for that double bye in the SEC tournament. You won't have to play until Friday. Get those extra days of rest. Obviously, if you beat Texas and Missouri, the next two you're for sure in. But I think if you just win one of them, I think you probably get a double bye locked up. It'll be close, but you're definitely sitting pretty. You're definitely sitting pretty, regardless. Um, so, yeah, Florida's the SEC regular season champs at 14-2. Alabama's 12-4, and the Hogs are in third at 11-5. Would you have taken 11-5 if I had told you early in the year, 2 games to go, they'd be 11-5 in third place in the SEC? If I had told you that before basketball season started, would you have taken that, or would you have been frustrated with an 11-5 SEC record? I think that's about where we had them. I think I said 12-6. Finish second, so I think I thought 12-6 would finish second. That's not going to happen. But yeah, interesting to say the least. Moving on, has some great showings at the NFL Combine for some former Hogs that are trying to get paid, go play at the next level. Specifically, Taylor Green and Mike Washington. Taylor Green sets 2 quarterback records all time in the Combine in the vertical jump and the long jump, or the broad jump. Runs a 4.37 40, which that doesn't surprise us. We saw Taylor's breakaway speed this year, last 2 years. We knew Taylor would be like a Combine darling. We didn't know it'd be this. He's turning heads, oohing and awing people. I'm happy for Taylor, man. I hope he's bumped his stock up into the 3rd round or something and gets a nice big payday. But yeah, Taylor did everything we thought he could do at the Combine and then some. Mike Washington, 4.33, I believe. Scooting, Mike. Scooting. Julian Neal, right? Had a good Combine. Carmona, Cam Ball, Xavier Sorey. There's some other ones I'm forgetting. It's crazy to think we're going to have like 7 or 8 guys drafted, and we went 2-10. The 2 biggest talks of the Combine, arguably, are Taylor Green and Mike Washington. Out of all the players from Ohio State, from Georgia, from Alabama, from Notre Dame, Miami, whatever, people are talking about Taylor Green and Mike Washington, what they did at the Combine. And we go 2-10 with those dudes? How stupid does that make us look? How dumb does that make us look? We're going to have 7 guys drafted. Maybe more than we've had in a long time. And we go 2-10. Oh, I don't even know why I'm just stressing me out about it. Hog's gonna hog, right? Hog's gonna hog. But yeah, really happy for those guys. Had a great week in front of NBA or NFL GMs, NFL scouts, head coaches. So hopefully they all get drafted high and get paid. Really, really happy for all those guys. They've been through it, so it's good for them to get a smile on their face, because Lord knows they have been through it. Hog baseball team, boy, lose to UT Arlington Friday 4-3. Had 0 runs going into the 9th, shutout going into the 9th. UTA ain't good, people. They were like 2-7 at the time, maybe 3-7 or something. We got some issues with this baseball team. We got some issues. Specifically this offense. And that just puts so much pressure on your pitchers when you know your offense can't do nothing. Um, Now, that being said, they did come out on Saturday and Sunday, and the bats woke up a little bit. Uh, won 9-0 on Saturday, won 11-1 on Sunday. So the bats did wake up a little bit, but the inconsistency, they got to get Pompey going at third. They got to get, Brumball, true freshman shortstop. Everybody knows he's going to be your 9-hole guy. He's not a great bat right now. He will be in a year or two. But you just got to be serviceable. Can't be batting 100, 10, 12 games in. Uh, so yeah, it's an issue. The pitching looked great, as we know it usually does. Colin Fisher on Sunday, unbelievable. Like I said, beat him 11-1. Hunter Dietz finally put together a nice outing on Saturday. That's a big outing for Hunter Dietz. He needed that. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. He needed that after his first 2 outings to get that confidence up and rolling. Colin Fisher, 6 innings, no earned, 7 strikeouts. Gabe Gackle did not have his best stuff on Friday. He went five and a third, gave up 4 earned, only had 5 strikeouts. So yeah, they got Oral Roberts coming up. Oral Roberts has several former Razorbacks that have transferred over there, so that'll be an interesting game. I think they're starting one of them. And then Stetson on deck for a 4-game series, Friday through Monday. So then we hop right into conference play, believe it or not, right into conference play with Mississippi State coming to town. Mississippi State ranked like 3 in the country right now. So, yeah, baseball's it's in full swing. I know we're not covering it like it's in full swing yet. We're just kind of going over scores and touching on who's pitching well and who's hitting well and who's not. But they're 5 games out from playing conference games. So baseball is here, and it's about that time. Before we wrap up here on the solo Never Yield pod, I would like to give a special shout out to Coach Kelsey Music and the Lady Razorbacks. Got their first conference win. I know it's been a long, long year for Coach Music. Looked like they were going to go over in the SEC, and then they come out and they put a butt whooping on Auburn. Really happy for her. Really happy for those girls. Say it is what it is. She walked into not a great situation. It's going to take a little bit of time to build it up. Obviously, limited in NIL in the women's hoops game. So as compared to other, the Tennessees and the South Carolinas and the Texases and LSU's that really put an emphasis on women's hoops. But good for them. Glad they were able to get off the schnapps. They head to the SEC women's tournament this week. Track team won another SEC championship in the indoors. I think that's like number 40 or 38 or something. SEC championship in the indoors. The dynasty continues. So hopefully they can go out and get them compete for a natty indoor. Then the last thing, being a former high school basketball coach, we got state tournament this week in Arkansas. So state tournament's always fun. It's hard to get to the state tournament. It's not easy. A lot of things have to go right, go your way. Got to have good matchups in the regionals, and kids got to be playing well. You got to stay healthy. But to all those who made the state tournament, obviously a lot of coaching buddies of mine, a lot of family members, and really good friends. Wish them nothing but the best. If you get a chance to go watch some high school basketball, it's state tournament's a lot of fun. I know the 5A's here in Farmington up close to us, so we'll definitely be watching that. JJ Andrews. Not every day you get to watch a 5-star right down the road from you, so definitely get to go watch JJ Andrews play. And 3As in Osceola over there in Northeast Arkansas, and the 2As down in Poland. So 4As in Morrilton, I believe. So it's pretty spread out. So if you get a chance to go watch some high school hoops, and they'll also all live stream now, so it's easy to find the live streams of these state tournaments. It starts on Tuesday, the day that this pod is releasing. So good luck to all the high school players and the coaches, and hopefully they play good and make a run for a state championship. Get to go to Hot Springs. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this solo pod. As bad as that game was, you got to try to put it behind you. We're done with the burn the tape games. We're done with the that's not my team games that Cal likes to say. But that's what you got to do. You got to move on. You can't let one loss turn into two. All it's going to do is a game like that. It's just going to pull more national haters out, more even true fans hating on you. So just hear the noise, then block out the noise, and go and prove them all wrong. That's all you can do at this point. So hopefully they can do that against the Longhorns on Wednesday. Everybody give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. I appreciate everybody for listening to the solo pod. We're getting close. It's March, baby. It's March. March basketball is upon us. So tell a friend about us. I'm still trying to grow this thing. Turn on your notifications so every time an episode drops, you get a notification, whether it's on Spotify or Apple or YouTube. And tell us what you want us to talk about. Leave a comment. If you think there's something else we should be covering and that you're interested in us digging into, let us know. We'll be glad to do it. So, anyways, hope everybody has a great week, and we'll be back Friday for another pod. Go Hogs and Woo Pig.